from the now president-elect. In other words, before I enter the White House, I'm a simple guy, simple questions. How?
Yeah, Leland, thanks for mentioning the book. By the way, all my proceeds go to a Gold Star family and their foundation. So get some for Christmas. It's a different way of thinking that Green Berets have to undertake. It's not just lightning raids in the middle of the night. We embed with villages, tribes. We herd them along in line with America's interests, and how I apply that to herding the tribes of the swamp. And speaking of, look, underscoring, I think, a second Trump term will be energy policy. And the fact is that the sanctions haven't been enforced on Russia. They're selling more oil and gas through China and India than they ever did even before the war. Their war machine is flush with cash. President Trump is, I think, going to get him to the table very quickly because if he enforces those sanctions, the old adage, Russia is a little more than a gas station with nukes, absolutely holds true. So focusing on getting a ceasefire, focusing on getting those two to the table, everybody, I think, ultimately agrees that this will ultimately have some type of diplomatic solution. It's just how quickly can we drive it, and President Trump knows how to drive a deal.
Well, look, okay, it was Jake Sullivan, now the outgoing national security advisor, who added in winning the war in Ukraine and securing Ukraine's territorial integrity that has this thing still going 3 years later. Almost every war ends with some kind of diplomatic solution. But the solution, and what I'm hearing you say,
and by the way, Leland, but every one of these wars could be changed for the positive by unleashing American oil and gas. Lift the LNG ban. Don't cancel things like the Keystone XL pipeline. Not only do you affect Russia's war machine, you affect Iran's war machine as well. The House passed sanctions on Chinese buyers of Iranian oil. Schumer sat on them for a year. President Trump's going to look at China and say, if you want to continue to buy from us, you can't buy from them. And Russia, too, for that matter. So how things get transported, how things move, the cost of energy is a huge leverage point for the United States that can affect all of these conflicts. And President Trump knows how to use it. And it has been a fundamental flaw of the Biden-Harris administration.
Look, we've been, I think, fairly critical, probably some of the most critical on television, of the Biden-Harris foreign policy, just because of what the results have been around the world. That said, Vladimir Putin, just because there are sanctions and there's economic pain for him, economically he's doing better than he's ever been doing. But if there is sanctions, he is not going to immediately withdraw all of his tanks and all of his troops back to the line that he went over in 2014 when I was there with little green men. He's going to want something. You're going to have to give him a win. What will President Trump, and what should he, I guess would be the better question, say to Vladimir Putin? Look, here's the deal. I'm going to give you what in Ukraine in order to end this?
Well, look, President Trump's been very clear. He's actually articulated this. He could go, he could, and again, I don't want to get ahead of him in any way, but hypothetically, tell Putin, we're going to continue to provide arms all day long, and likewise have that leverage on Zelensky. But the point is, get them both to the table. And we have to ask ourselves, this is the other thing that Biden couldn't or wouldn't define, is it in America's critical national interest for no matter how long it takes, how much it costs, or how many people die, to have every Russian off of every inch of Ukraine, including Crimea? So, I mean, those are the fundamental questions we have to ask ourselves. We have the leverage points to drive them to the table, but the Biden-Harris administration just hasn't used it. Okay. And as long as it takes is a slogan, not a strategy.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.